Hey internet besties, welcome and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Champagne and I am on a smile journey. So I am here to talk candid. Let's talk teeth, let's talk grills, let's do it. As you guys can tell from my lisp, I am wearing my aligners right now. The last video I did was my aligner unboxing and kind of showed you guys what they look like and kind of talk through the process of me wearing them for the first time. Now it's been a few months that I've been wearing my aligners. I meant to film this update like months ago, but unfortunately I had, a few deaths in my family and, going through a grieving process. So here we are. Today's video is going to be 10 things I wish I knew when I started my candid journey. For those of you that are thinking about starting your journey, or those of you who are currently on your journey and you're having a hard time staying motivated, I wanted to make this video because there are a lot of things that if I would have done from the beginning, I would have just found it a lot easier. So we're gonna start off by going into my 10 things I wish I knew, and then I will talk to you guys a little bit about my update, where I'm at in the journey, things like that. So let's get into it. So I took off my aligners specifically for this because I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the fit of the aligners, okay? So the first thing that I wish that I knew when I started my candid journey is that there is a certain way that you're supposed to put your aligners in, and there's a certain way to figure out whether or not they're seated properly. So for me, I realized like the first couple of months wearing my aligners that sometimes I would put them in and they would still feel really tight, even like days after I had started a step. Essentially what's happening is I'm not lining them up properly. So here's my little saying that I use now. Okay, if you don't hear the snap, go and bring it back because it's not in properly, okay? You should hear like a snap or a pop, and that lets you know it's snapping into place. If you don't hear that snap, go in and bring it back. Like I said, if you don't hear that snap, you want to take them out and realign them and try to pop it back in, because what's going to happen is you're going to delay your progress. And that's one thing that happened with me. I would be wearing my aligners and I'd be like, they don't feel quite right, and I try to adjust them and I would still not be hearing that snapping noise. So let me show you guys what it should sound like when you're inserting your aligner. So I have my mirror in front of me. So you want to line up with your front teeth. Do you hear that? There's a snap. When it locks into place, when it snaps into place, you can hear it. If you don't hear that snap, it's not in correctly. The second thing I wish I knew when I started my candid journey was that I need to wear my aligners for 22 hours. 22 hours is how long you should be wearing your aligners. So what I normally do is I do remove my aligners when I eat. I don't remove my aligners when I drink things, but I do take them out when I want to eat. So I do carry my little white case for my aligners with me while I go out. So if I go out to eat dinner, I will excuse myself to the restroom, go ahead and pop them out, put them in my case. Sometimes if I'm at social gatherings or something like that where I know I'm going to be talking a lot and I don't necessarily want the lisp, and generally that's just when I'm around people who I don't know, or if I'm filming a YouTube video that takes 15-20 minutes to film, I'll pop them out really quickly just so that I can make sure that I can be heard clearly and I don't have a lisp, and then I'll pop them back in. One really good trick for this, because I found it really hard to keep track, I would take my aligners out to do something like eat, and then I would finish eating and then I would go back to doing something else and I would forget to put my aligners back in, and then the next thing you know, it's been 4 hours and I haven't been wearing them. So one thing that I found that's really helpful is I use my handy dandy cell phone and I will set a timer. As soon as I pop my aligners out, I put a timer on for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or however long I think it's gonna take me to eat a quick lunch or eat my breakfast or whatever I'm doing. And then after that timer's up, I will pop them back in. The third thing I wish I knew when I started my candid journey is that your aligners can become stained. Remember I said I don't wear my aligners when I eat, but I do wear them when I drink. So I am at the Keurig drinking cup after cup after cup of coffee, and your aligners will stain. It's not permanent. Make sure that you're using the whitening foam that comes with your aligners when you get them. They're kind of dual purpose. Not only do they whiten your teeth, they also keep your aligners from getting stained. Because I was like, oh my gosh, my teeth are looking real busted. And I mean, baseline is not great, but that was a little bit more, and it was because my my aligners were staining. The fourth thing I learned on my candid journey, which honestly shouldn't be a surprise because that's literally the reason why I'm on this smile journey, is that your bite will change. And I didn't notice it until I forget even what I was eating. I think I may have been eating an apple or something like that, but my bite changed. biting into something hard felt different. Like my bite from my top, my top and bottom teeth are not in the same place that they were before. Obviously that's the point, but you don't really notice it day by day. And then one day you're biting into something and you're like, that felt weird. And it's because your teeth are moving, which is great. It's like a good sign because you know it's working, but also it can be a little bit strange and it can feel weird because your teeth are shifting and your bite's gonna be different, and you may not bite down in the same spot on your back teeth as you used to when you were eating. So that's something that I wish I had known about, because I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so weird. I was very freaked out. Don't worry, it's what you want to happen. Thing number 5 that I wish I knew when I started my Candid journey is how important your chewies are. So when you get your aligners, you will get like these little green things. They look like those little wooden things that you put into IKEA furniture, if you've ever put IKEA furniture together before. But anyway, they look like those, but they're like chewy, rubbery. Don't eat them, but they're like gummy-ish type green little cylindrical things. And so I didn't realize, like I kind of opened my aligners and like I was so excited and put them on and just kind of like tossed them to the side. They are so useful. Oh my gosh, they're so useful to get like a proper seating. So remember how I said if they don't snap, run that thing back? Okay, so in conjunction with that, you wanna make sure that you're using your chewies to make sure that your aligners are seated properly on your teeth. So when you send your dental monitoring scan, your orthodontist will take a look at how much your teeth has moved, but also they'll take a look at how your teeth look in the aligners in the step that you're in now. There should be no space in between where the aligner starts and your teeth, because by the time you do your scan, your teeth should have moved to where that's a perfect fit and it feels more comfortable. So your chewies actually really help you get a good like bite down and get a good seat. So when you first try your aligners on, when you're going into a new step or when you're trying them on for the first time, definitely make sure you use your chewies. You want to place the your chewies in the back, so on your molars, and bite down, and just to make sure that everything seats properly. And then also if you get a no-go at some point, which I hope that you don't, but if you get a no-go like I did, you're gonna have to use your chewies as well to bite down in those areas that essentially didn't take. So the areas where your orthodontist was like, this ain't move right, you're gonna wanna go back and use your chewies to bite down, just so that you can make sure you have a good seat. It's seated properly, you have a good seat. The 6th thing that I wish I knew is that your aligners will feel tight when you are first starting or when you're going into a new step, right? So I remember going into my 2nd step and being like, ooh, this is like really tight. Like this feels, I don't know if this is right? Like maybe my mold wasn't right. No, it's right. You have to do basically exactly what we already ran through. Make sure that you're hearing the snap when you put them on. Make sure you're using your chewies, but also expect some tightness with that first, like the first time you put on a new step or when you're first starting out, because keep in mind, when you first try on that set of aligners, that's where your teeth should be at the end of that step. That's not where your teeth at now, okay? So it's gonna feel weird and it may feel tight, it's gonna feel uncomfortable initially because your teeth aren't at the end state of that aligner. And while you're wearing it, so my steps are about 10 days, every 10 days I move to a new step. So at day 1, I'm gonna be like, this doesn't feel right, don't like it, no thanks. And then by like day 3, it starts to feel a little bit more comfortable, it's less tight. And then by the time we get to day 10, it feels like it's easy to pop on and pop off. That means that my teeth have moved sufficiently and they're seated, like I mentioned before, where you don't see any spaces in between the top of the aligner and my tooth. That means we're good to go, chef's kiss, we're ready to move on to the next step, right? Well, if your orthodontist says so. Number 7 is more of a tip and less of a thing I wish I knew, but something that I recommend to everybody who is like using aligners on their smile journey. 2 pairs of toothbrushes. So 1 toothbrush for your teeth and then 1 toothbrush for your aligners. I like to thoroughly scrub my liners in the morning and at night. So if you guys want, let me know down below in the comment section. I can do like a morning and night routine with my liners. So that's just something that I like to do just for like an extra step of like cleanliness. And like, granted, you could just rinse them and then add in the whitening foam. I like to go the extra step and use like a different toothbrush and Listerine to just like really like wash and like scrub and get in there every night and every morning before I go to bed. It's just something that I feel like makes me feel like the inside is cleaner. Another thing I wish I knew when I started my Candid journey is that S's would be a problem. I definitely have a noticeable lisp. I start to notice it more as I get to the end of a step. Usually at the beginning of a step when I'm first trying on a new pair of aligners, it's not so bad. This set of aligners I've had in for a while, so the lisp is a little bit more prominent. So that's something that I definitely noticed. It's not a huge deal, but because I like to talk a lot, it definitely was something that I wish that I knew going into this journey, that I would be lisping a lot once I get to the end of my steps. But again, this process is shorter than traditional braces or even Invisalign, so I feel kind of like I can take the lisp, like an annoying lisp, for a few months if at the end, like, shorter time and my teeth are straight. The 8th thing that I wish I knew when I started my aligner journey is that your teeth may become easier to floss and to brush too. So if you notice, I have a lot of crowding in my bottom teeth. When I started my journey, my teeth were much more crowded than this. If I can find a clip from my first Candid video, I'll go ahead and like screenshot it and put it somewhere up here. My teeth were much more crowded down here, and it made it really difficult to get in and floss like in like where my teeth were the most crowded. And I noticed after a few months of wearing my aligners that my teeth it's much easier for me to get in and floss those areas that are crowded, which is kind of cool to see too. Also, that my gum line will change. When I smile, because my teeth are actively moving all day long, my gum line is different than it used to be. So if you have like a very gummy smile, you may not have a gummy smile when you're done with your treatment. And those are things that I wish that I had known before I started my Candid journey as well. It would have been cool to kind of go into it a little bit prepared of that stuff. So hopefully this video will be helpful for anybody who's going into their journey to kind of have these things in the back of their head. The 9th thing that I wish that I knew, and this is specifically for makeup lovers, your instinct will be to put your aligners in first and then do your lipstick. Don't do that. The thing that works best for me, so I found that when I put my aligners in first and then I tried to do my makeup or do my lipstick, I would always, without fail, get lipstick on my aligners. It would be a whole thing. It's not cute. It's actually a little bit, to me, even worse than like getting them just on your teeth, because it's plastic, and so you have to like really go at it to like clean the makeup off of it. It's just a whole mess. Definitely put your lipstick on with your aligners off, because what'll happen is while you're putting your aligners in, you will by default touch those areas like on your lips that would touch the aligners, and you'll rub some of that off. It's kind of like blotting in that way. So it's kind of like you blot. If you put on your lipstick first, you're blotting when you put your aligners in with your fingers. You could also just blot like a regular person, but that's something that I found is helpful for me if I just do it in that order. And finally, the 10th thing that I wish I knew when I started my Candid journey is that I have to be patient. Patience is key. Be patient. I am a very impatient person. It's the trauma. And I just really like want it to be done like now. I want to see the end result now. Something that was really helpful for me was the Candid app, because it will show you like your very last scan to your current scan. So like, you know, where you were the last time you took a scan and where your teeth are now. And that kind of helped me to see like, okay, there is progress, because sometimes you see your face and you see your teeth every day and you don't notice the subtle movements. So when you see your scans, it's really helpful for you to kind of like see, oh, my teeth are moving and this is working, and it helps you to be a little bit less like ants in your pants. So for me, I was like, let me calm down and stop stressing and just trust the process. And I found that really helped me. So that was my list for the 10 things that I wish I knew. Now I want to talk a little bit about my progress. So your girl has been struggle busing it. So I meant to make these videos like on a monthly basis so that you guys could see like a month to month to month like progress or like just me kind of sharing my experiences on a month-to-month basis. That is something that I'm going to start doing now. The reason why I hadn't been doing it before is because, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I had a couple of family deaths and things like that. My father passed away, my mother passed away shortly thereafter, my husband's grandmother passed away as well. Like we had a lot, and then it was Thanksgiving and then the holidays, and it's just been really, really chaotic. And I haven't been filming, but aside from not filming, I hadn't been keeping really good track on making sure that I was wearing my aligners all day long. I was going through a period of grief, so I'm giving myself grace for that. It did set me back a little bit on my progress. Like I noticed that at times, like I would forget to scan and I would be wearing my aligners for probably far too long. And I start to notice, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I would have my lisp, like I'd be lisping like crazy. Like I'd be on some Mike Tyson. Like I would really be lisping a lot. And that was an indicator to me like, oh, I probably need to change my aligners. I've probably been wearing these for too long. So I had to start like making a conscious decision to remember to like do these things to kind of get myself back on track. So here's where we're at. We're gonna do the stats thing now. So as of right now, I am on aligner number 6. I have done 7 scans in total. The very last scan that I did, I got a no-go for, and that's because my teeth were not seated properly in the aligners in certain spaces. My orthodontist sent me like a message through the app saying like, hey, you had a couple unseats, like it's looking like there are just a couple of teeth that didn't move exactly the way that we wanted them to, so go ahead and wear your aligners for a little bit longer. And then I got an updated scan date for my next scan. So I'm stuck on step 6 until my teeth move the way that they're supposed to move. So that's what I was mentioning earlier about making sure you use your chewies and wearing your aligners for 22 hours a day. Like you have to do it, or you may get to a point where you're stuck on a step like I am right now. But that's fine. Just trust the process. It happens. You may have a setback where you have to wear your aligners for, a longer period of time. It's fine. And from now on, there will be updates on a monthly basis. So you could expect them to be right around the last week of every month. I'll have a new upload for my progress. I'll start to do pictures now. So starting from now until I'm done with my treatment, I'll do pictures month by month so you guys can see the comparison over month. And then we'll also do like, the video or whatever. There's video in the app as well for my scans. I'll include that on the next video as well so you guys can see from this last one that I just did to my next scan, so you guys can kind of see the progress. So this is what my teeth look like today. You can see that I still have some crowding here in the front, but what I did notice is that the crowding in the front actually is much less than it was when I started. These teeth used to like literally overlap. My entire mouth looked like a scene from West Side Story. It was not cute. But now you can start to see the crowding is kind of loosening up a little bit. So I'm starting to see like the top part straighten out, but really the bottom start to become less crowded, which is like what I'm excited about. Also, like this tooth here that was like sticking up as a result of the crowding, it's lower now than it was before. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Keep in mind that this series is going to be continuing. We are back on a scheduled basis. I will be posting these updates on a monthly basis. It'll be the last week of every month. I haven't decided on a day yet, but if you guys have a preference, let me know down below. I'm thinking maybe like a Sunday, something like that. But yeah, I'm excited to continue on this journey and to provide you guys with updates and let you guys know how everything's going. Let me know what you think down below, or if you have any questions about my journey, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Bye.